Hello, thank you for joining. It's Michelle Letters from Nantucket, and I am so happy to be back with another mail making video today for you. This one's actually pretty fun. It's very simple. It's essentially like a 5 by I think 6 3/4 card, and I cut out 2 sheets of cardstock that I'm going to sandwich together to create 2 pockets, and I just used a punch to create the little lip at the top. And then I also cut out 2 smaller strips to create pockets. I'm joining them together really simply with glue. Sometimes I think glue is the best way to do it if you can give it some time to dry and also be clamped down. So that's what I'm using. And I'm really keeping the assembly on this nail piece really simple. Sometimes I can take things to a really complicated level, and I worry that things might fall apart in the mail just from manhandling with the post office in hopefully a very loving way. So I've been trying to cut down on bulk, and cutting down on bulk and thickness in mail usually means not having pockets with folded seams and things like that, but keeping things flat and glued together. So that's what I'm doing. The inspiration for this is actually, so this style that you'll see, which is essentially like a folded card with tiered pockets in it. I tried making it 3 different ways. That's sort of what you see, the stack on the left. There are 2 other sort of cards with binder clips all over them. That's what those are. And this way that I'm sharing with you is by far the best. I'm not even going to share the others with you in terms of process making, because this is the process I would share with people. I will still decorate those mail pieces and use them, but the process itself to get the end result was a little bit cumbersome. So this is the version that I decided to share from the making to the decorating. So here it is. The sort of theme for this one was really based on that pretty pink paper. It came from Studio Calico. They've got these cool sales that go on every now and then, and I can score some things pretty inexpensively. So when that specific sheet of paper showed up, I made sure to grab a few extra pieces so that I could have fun incorporating in the mail. Now I'm setting that sheet aside with some binder clips to dry so that I can get those seams as strong as possible. So here is the finished project, the finished card along with the other 2. And right now I'm getting to my favorite part of the process, which is when I just sort of sort through my stash and pull things out that I want to incorporate. This mail, again, working off that beautiful pink star paper, is really sky themed, which is so pretty. And what I love about this paper specifically is that it is sky themed, but it's not the typical blue. It's got that pretty pink and gold, so it sort of creates more opportunity for my creative flow to take over. I have a lot of great sky themed pieces from a lot of different kits that have come in. Villa Beautiful kit was one, and then there was but it was a craft paper set that had a lot of moon and star things on it. And then those little, well, one is little and one is giant. The moon stickers are things that I actually made myself. Got an image of the moon, took the background out, and then printed them out just using an 8.5 by 11 full-size sheet of Avery sticker paper. I don't have a sticker machine. I just print them out using a laser printer at my local office product store, and it works perfectly. The larger moon I had to cut out pretty fussy to get that nice edge, but then the smaller moons I actually measured them out so that I could use a 1-inch punch or 2-inch punch with some of the other ones. So I wanted to incorporate the big moon on the mail piece, but then in the goodie bag that I send in the mail, I include a bunch of the other smaller moons to share. And then the assemblage takes over with my scraps. The Fashion Girl of the sign, I can't remember what Etsy shop I got them all, but it's just a Fashion Girl sticker. You can find a bunch of them on Etsy, which is where I go to source neat little things like that. The scrap sheet from the Sky book is left over from a page in my scrap journal a few months ago that I've been hanging on to. And this little watercolor sheet, I had every intent of incorporating it, but then after I put I think I was copying that quote We Are All Made of Stars. I was putting that onto the little watercolor card that I had done, and the gold Sharpie just didn't look as great as I had hoped it would. So I gave it a really good college try and did some great lettering on there, but you can barely even see it. So sadly that fell by the wayside throughout this process. And I think what I'm going to do is after it's really good and dry is go back in with a white gel pen and outline those letters, and then I think that will make it pop a little bit more. But luckily, with all of these awesome pieces that I'm pulling in from the different kits, it's okay that my little watercolor piece didn't make it whatsoever. What you're going to see is a lot of stickers, but then little random pieces that I'm just using my glue dot runner to assemble. You can get pretty lazy, especially after using a bunch of glue to assemble the card. I think glue is always the best option, but it does take a while to to set. And, you know, I'd rather sort of wait and make sure the process and the assemblage is really good, and then sort of cut corners, well, not corners, but sort of do the time-saving methods when it comes to the decorating part. That's my reason. I don't know what your reason is. If you have our process, or sort of do you use glue for this and a tape runner for that, or it'd be interesting to hear that in the comments, because what I've found is the more people I talk to, it's like everyone sort of has their fixed preferred means for certain parts of the process, and like certain tools and certain adhesives come into play. So it's fun to hear what works well for you all, because I like sharing what works for me in hopes that it might make your process a little bit better. The cover is coming along. I mean, it's purple and pink and stars and pretty washy and stuff, so it's hard to not enjoy not only making it, but then also sharing the process with you. It's definitely fun to go back and see what happened. And I'm just putting in a little word strip. That big clear bag is actually my new means for storing all of my random sheets of stickers. I have a binder and things like that. I think like most girls, I'm constantly trying to find a good method to store things so that I make sure I use my supplies, but also that I stay tidy and clean and can find my supplies. So I essentially have like little boxes everywhere, or bags, and each one is sort of dedicated to a different product. So those are like sheets of like decorative stickers and alpha stickers, and the little box that you can sort of see up in the left corner is sort of where my like little bags of embellishments are, like those stars, the pink stars as well as the smaller mini stars. And both of those stars actually came out of Studio Calico documentary kits. I signed up for that around the holidays, and I'm happy that I did. I do have an abundance of journaling cards, but it's good because now I'm finding a challenge to actually use them, and they're really fun to pop into mail. The only downfall to that kit is that once you're in there, you are sort of locked in for the specific time period unless you cancel, but then there are financial ramifications for that, where it actually costs you to leave. So I'm sticking with my, I think, original 6 months and giving it a go. I have found that between that and the Planner Society kit, there are a lot of supplies coming my way, and I tend to gravitate more towards the Planner Society because of the florals. But again, those kits as well come with a lot of pieces that I don't necessarily use because I'm not a traditional sort of planner girl, but they do provide me with like great things that I can share with my pen pals and other girls. So nothing goes to waste. I definitely pass things around. It's just things to noodle on. I have seen a couple of snail mail kits, nothing that's really a subscription, but I think there are a lot of paper crafts and kits out there that we can all incorporate into our style. So you can see in terms of what's happening back with the snail mail process that I'm sharing with you today, I'm putting together sort of a fun little goodie bag of different pieces. I sort of go through this big process of making a bunch of my own stickers using stamps and things like that, and then cutting them out. So when that cellophane bag first came into the frame, it already had some of those pieces that I already spread out in a series just to make my mail making process a little bit easier. And then what I like to do is add more goodies that sort of fit the theme of the mail that I'm working on. So that cellophane bag is now being added with a little star sheet and then miniature little stars and a bunch of the little moon stickers that I can then share with my pen pal. And I like to put the little shaker pieces in there because then the goodie bag becomes sort of a fun graphic element of the card. And then because the card has two really great big pockets up at the top, I'm sharing some of my stash of Target Dollar Spot cards, which are super cute. I love incorporating those into my snail mail. And I also love sharing them with my pen pals, so I'm popping some of those in there as well. With everything in, I sort of like to stuff first because the stuffing in a card like this sort of becomes part of the decoration. I really only have the bottom flaps of the bottom tier pockets to decorate. So that little star strip is actually a scrap from a 4x4 journal kit from We Are Memory Keepers. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably would have seen a mini journal that I use just to, binder journal that I use just to scrap pictures from the year. And so that card is actually a leftover from the kit that binder came in. I like to cut it up, and it's fun to sort of challenge myself with using these random scraps that I have from different things coming in. If you followed along a lot of my journals, you know, journaling videos and mail making videos, you know that I sort of love to pop in little repetitive elements with marker or pen to create some interest. So that's what I'm doing here. I wanted to keep the bottom really simple. That big Dwell in Possibility sticker is actually a really thick cardstock, so I didn't want to put too much else around it, so I used the gold Sharpie to give it a neat border and add a couple of stars on it to sort of incorporate the theme. And then I also did just little clusters of dots around the other washi strip and then the paper strip that I put on the other side. Again, I'm trying to keep everything as flat as possible. So as I'm moving things around, I'm trying to be really strategic to get things in a place where I'm sort of maximizing the space on the inside without doubling up too many layers. So it's very strategic that the star paper clip is on the outside of the card, and then the little stack of goodies I tape to the inside of the card so that everything can sort of lay flat. One of my last little moments here in the decorating is just using some alpha purple vellum stickers to write letter in. I think those are kind of cool. And then I'm just going to come in and draw some little hearts with a Sharpie in a little moment to give it a little bit of extra love. And that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me for another mail making process. It is really fun to be back sharing with you. Please know that just because I've been absent doesn't mean I haven't been creating. It's just that I've been having a challenging time making sure I document the process lately, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. So thank you for coming back. Thank you if you're a new joiner. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. And I wish you all a wonderful day creating and making and documenting your special moments. All the best. Thank you.